Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for a webinar today. My name is Fan Chi. I'm the Regional Sales Director for Asian Market in Global Exam. So before we start our webinar today, I will briefly introduce Global Exam for those who doesn't know about us yet. Global Exam is an online language exam preparation platform. We help students to prepare for their language certification, like the popular ones like IELTS and TOEFL IBT, etc. Our exam preparation covers 5 languages from English, French, German, Spanish to Chinese. So today the purpose of our webinar is because we have introduced a big upgrade of our interfaces after introducing so many new functions. So today is to introduce you what did we introduce for the new functions and how is the newest interface look like. So for the newest upgrade, because we have been updating a lot of new contents and new functions, and the principle of Global Exam is to make sure that our platform is as simple as possible, as intuitive as possible, so that even for the teacher and for the students, it's always accessible. So I will share my screen today, and if in between the demonstration you have any questions, you will have a chat space that you can directly send a comment, and you can ask me any questions, and I will respond to all your questions at the end of our webinar. So today the demo will be with the content of IELTS, since it is the most popular exam. So here, the newest interface, we present all the 6 models. So at the right part, you can see the student can personalize the goal of their target score for the exam chosen. So they can put their target score here. They can put the exam date. And every time when they connect on Global Exam, they will be able to see it directly. So it will keep them motivated, which is very important for them. Every exam on Global Exam, we have 2 modes. We have training mode and exam mode. In the training mode, actually these 2 modes are both based on mock exams. But in the training mode, we separate each sections. So then students can practice themselves on a particular part they are not very good at. In the exam mode, we put students in a real exam condition with the time pressure, with the official instruction, etc. So that they can practice themselves for the exam. If it's lasting for 3 hours, then in the exam mode, it will take 3 hours. So it trains them to be patient in front of the screen, etc. So let's take an example in the training mode. In the training mode, you can see already each section are separated. If we take an example in the listening, here they can see the instruction, the official instruction of each part. So for students who need to reinforce to get familiar with the template of the exam, they can see it here directly. Also, by section, we will tell them, due to the digitalization we have done, what do we do to adapt it on the online version on Global Exam. Also, we will also tell them what do they expect on the exam day. We will also provide them a tip to get a higher score. So let's choose a monologue. All the content on Global Exam are original. We have our own professors creating the content. So here you can see we have 3 levels of content from easy, medium to hard. So let's take an easy one, for example. We can see the direction. When we start in the training mode, since it's training, so students are practicing. Here they can put the audio as many times as they need. They can see the full transcript if there is vocabulary they couldn't understand after several times. And also, they can display the answer. Here you have a clock to do the top up. We do not do countdown here because some students, it depends on students' habit. Some students like to check the vocabulary at the same time while practicing. So here we do not put the time pressure yet. However, it will come in the exam mode. So today, let's do an example. So I'm a student, I enter the answer. At the end, I validate. After each exercise, student will come to the answer sheet. It will tell them how much time they spent on this session and when did they complete it, and also the score they get. Then they can go to the view details. which is a more detailed answer sheet. The system will save their answer. We will give them the correct answer and explanation. And this is a probably global exam is different from the other similar solutions because each question on global exam is linked to 3 types of skills: grammar, vocabulary, and language function. We identify the skills so the student can see exactly what were the skills they were practicing during exercises. So if I'm a student and I fail this question, I can see this is the, present simple. So I click. Then the system will redirect our student to the study sheets, which are designed by our professors. We will identify the level according to CFR standard from A1 to C2, A1 the easiest, C2 the hardest. So since we already do the exercise, we can directly come to see the study sheet. The study sheet, it will tell us why this skill is very important. After reading this study sheet, what's the key takeaway? The example and explanation. And at the end, it will tell us what kind of mistake is easily made, so the student will pay extra attention on it. And after reading the study sheet, student can do a very brief exercise around 10 questions to see how much they understood from the study sheet and if after all the practice, they master this skill. So then now we are gonna move on exam mode. In the exam mode, there are 5 exams for IELTS. So we can see here the instruction already changed. Now what we see is the official instruction. We have the countdown by section, countdown by exam, so the student have the time pressure. In the audio, there is no longer the pause, etc. No more transcript. The student cannot display answers anymore. So the student makes sure they are really in the exam focus. So they put themselves in the real exam condition. So here I wouldn't finish everything because it's gonna take a bit more time. So maybe you will have a question in mind. What if my student is not a proficient enough to directly go to exercises? So we also introduce in the study sheet. Instead of going from answer sheet, we can also directly start from study sheet. So they can filter the study sheet by test, by level, by language skill. So today we are preparing IELTS. Then I can choose IELTS grammar, let's say. So for grammar, we can see all the study sheets related to grammar, related to IELTS. So if we choose an example, we can see this is a grammar in the category of adjective and adverbs of the level of B1. So it can be used in 2 ways. Either student do the study sheet and then the exercise, which is the way we present it. And if some student would like to pass the study sheet one by one, the student can do directly from the exercise and to see how much they master the skill. If they got 10 out of 10, it means that they may be able to skip this study sheet and then move on. And for teacher, this function is not to replace the teacher. However, it becomes a filter because sometimes when students have questions, it's not that the teacher didn't teach them. Actually, they just miss a very small detail. So then in this case, students come here and then filter those questions that are very simple and basic. So when they come to the teacher, the teacher are there for the very complicated question and to really make students understand. So in this case, teacher will be able to save a lot of time and they can put more energy on creating the curriculum, then to invent, develop more creative teaching method, etc. Also, we introduce a new function, which is a study plan. So for the study plan, sometimes student doesn't have teacher at the site or they are already following a curriculum. However, they don't want to arrange their own progress. Then in this case, student can see how much time they have and then choose a plan that is already designed by our team. So they can choose maybe 9 hours, 18 hours. So let's do an example for 18 hours. They will have a progress arranged like this. And here comes the tricky part. So for students, if they don't finish the exercise above, they cannot move on to the next session. So it actually is a bit like game, because you don't pass to level 3 without passing level 2. So in this case, even for the teacher, you can choose, say, okay, next time I want to see this one unlocked, which means student must finish all of the exercise above to unlock the following sessions. So when they click in begin exercise, it will be like training mode. Also, we propose placement test. So for the placement test, we can customize the test according to your need. We can customize the time. We can customize the content according to your demand actually. So maybe let's say IELTS is 3 hours. However, today you only have 30 minutes. So you want to screen the students' initial level. So then maybe we can do 30 minutes IELTS only with listening and reading, so that you can have the answer immediately. Also, we have introduced the adaptive model. So then according to the students, if they answer the questions correct, we can measure their proficiency level approximately. In the statistics part, it will save all the answer sheet here with the training exercises and exam, and also for the assessment test, which will attach all the answer sheets regarding the exercise they did. And here in the study sheets and revision, because before in the answer sheet, we can already see the skills associated with each question. However, we may need to have a general view on students' capacity in each skills. So then we can come here. Still, we have the category of grammar, vocabulary, and language function. Then we can choose, okay, phrasal verbs. Then we have past, we can see here phrasal verbs in and out. We see the student pass the question in training mode, exam mode, assessment mode, and practice mode. So then if we see, okay, 50%, 70% is okay, but 50% maybe not that satisfied. So then we can do review. Then the students will be redirected to study sheets again. So it's with this kind of back and forth inside the system that helps students to identify their weakness and to reinforce again. Also, you don't need to worry about if the student doesn't know how to use the platform, because also we have put the guided visit at their disposal. So if they don't know how to use it at the beginning when they arrive on the platform at the homepage, they can come here and then we will have a guided visit through each function. So for now, these are all the functions on the student interface. If you have any questions, please feel free to write it down so that I can answer you at the end of the webinar. And now we are going to move on to the admin space. So for the admin space, once you have the account, you can access to the admin platform here. So each partner of Global Exam have a dedicated admin space. In the dedicated admin space, you can monitor all the performance of your users. So this is the dashboard. You will be able to see how many users are registered in your organization, how many logins, activity completed, and the total training time in general. Also, each partner of Global Exam will have a dedicated customer success manager who will accompany you throughout the partnership. At the beginning of the partnership, we will schedule a kickoff with you, especially the admin, to learn the need of your organization, because we are collaborating with schools, training centers, international student recruitment agents. So there are functions for different entities. So the customer success manager will study your need and will guide you through the platform to tell you, okay, according to your needs, which are the functions that you will be most useful for your organization. And also, if later you will need a team training for maybe your teachers or your staffs, you can also organize it with our customer success manager. For the user part, you can also choose to create your student's account by yourself. And it's very simple. You just need to choose when do they want to start the training on global exam, how long is the program they want, and which exam they want. Then the site language, and once you put a valid email address and you click on create account, the system will automatically send an email for the student to set up their own password. To facilitate your organization to monitor your students, you can also choose to group your students according to maybe by teachers or maybe by the season they come to your organization, or maybe according to the year. It's optional. Also, we visualize the statistics. Before, our report was in Excel file. However, now the report is visualized on the admin platform. So you can see the total training hour on the organization, number of exam passed, the average CEFR level of your organization, and then activities completed. And then the last 30 days, the increase and the decrease of the activities and the usage of the platform, maybe due to the peak season of the exam taken. Also, you can see how many study plans are in progress and completed. How many active users. If in your organization there are several language preparation are used, you can also see the breakdown by language. You can also see the students' attendance. You can also see their progress. The average score per section. And at the end, also the work time breakdown by exam. We can also see the average score per skill. The language skill from the study and review, how many study sheet was reviewed. At the end, we can also see the language skills in detail according to your organization. Then, instead of looking at a general one, if you have small group of students that you would like to follow, you will also have the same report in the group and by individual as well. And this part will be useful for the teacher especially, because at the end, still for this part, because even we separate students in small group by level, in each level, between each student, we will still have a bit different weakness. To make the most value out of the class, normally the teacher will try to find a common weakness to propose and to prepare them in the class. So then they can come here to see, okay, this part student gets 0%. It means that they are not very good at this part. So then teacher can use it as a reference to help them prepare their next class. Also for the individual, if you would like to follow up on a certain student, or if you are proposing one-on-one classes, this is a part that you can use to follow up a certain student. And still you will have a visualized report. If you don't want to connect to the admin platform so frequently, you prefer to have it directly in your email inbox, it's also possible to do an export. So you can choose to have an immediate export. You can also choose to program the export. What does it mean by program and export? Program and export, you can define the export name. You can choose the export according to the data you would like to see. To the recipient, maybe it's you, the admin account yourself, or maybe it's your teachers, etc. The period you would like to see, the frequency, maybe you don't need to follow up so frequent, so you would like to have a monthly report, then we can choose the first day of the month. If it's a teacher, maybe you are having a class every Wednesday, and you would like to have the report before every Tuesday. It's also possible. And the expiration date can be at the end of the program or maybe at the end of this season. And you can choose which group or which user you would like to see the data. So this is all the functions on admin space. So we are gonna now move on to the question part. So if you have any questions, do not hesitate to write, and then I will be able to answer you now. So I hope the demonstration is clear. And there are some functions that it's customized on the platform, so you will need to discuss with our team. And for any further information, you can contact our team. So we are at your entire disposal. Global exam, we always stayed very reactive, and we liked the client's feedback, because in this case, this is the way to help us evolve our product, and it's also how we have been introducing so many new functions. Because actually, it's because we know that you need it, and we create it to help you, to facilitate your organization, and to help your student to prepare their language exam in the most efficient way. So for now, I didn't see any questions. So I think everything so far, I hope everything so far is clear. And if later you have any questions, you can reach me or reach anyone of our team, and we will be at your entire disposal. And I hereby thank you all again for your time, and see you soon on Global Exam. Thank you. Bye bye.